Okay, so is this do or die for Brian Ortega? Because he's fighting Yair Rodriguez right now, and this is the co-main event. It's going to be a 5 rounder, I believe, and it's going to be a continuation of a freak accident. Even though I kind of saw Yair winning that fight to begin with, because he was piecing him up, he's got another opportunity to right the wrong and get a rematch and make sure that this can happen. He's going to, and if he beats Yair, he could possibly fight Ilya Taporia for just a third title run. Third time might be a charm. It might not be. Do I think he beats Ilya? Probably not. I think Ilya might be more head and shoulders above the division than we want to admit. Let's say that I hope Ilya doesn't ever get his hands on Paddy the Baddy. But and if Ortega loses, I don't think it's the end of his career in the UFC. Definitely, probably in the top five. He's going to be fighting guys who want to break into the top five. Like if he wants to fight Bryce Mitchell, who wants to bounce back after that Josh Emmett loss, I think that would be a good matchup. Even though Bryce, I got a video to make in the future, and I'm going to say it as a Bryce Mitchell fan who actually enjoys what he does for the sport. Even though I don't necessarily always agree with him on all these things, I do want to make a video with some healthy concern. But back to Brian Ortega, I don't think it's over for him if he loses to Yair. I think he needs to get a little more active, and we got to give him a chance to right the wrong. Because we know how MMA fans online can be. It's like 1 minute you're the hottest thing to hit the scene, and the next you're wash. You should quit. Nobody likes you. All that stuff, right? Like the MMA fan base is so brutal at this point when a lot of people um, would never step up to one of those pro UFC fighters. I know that. And that's the thing about the MMA fan base that kind of bothers me is they like to sit there behind their keyboards and talk all this nonsense. But if you ever met one of these guys face to face, which I have, and I keep the same energy all the time. I don't say anything online nasty. I don't say anything like that because they will, like if you try to antagonize one, I'm pretty sure none of them are past getting in your face and asking you to say it to their face, especially Jorge Masvidal. And you know what? Ironically enough, I did meet Brian Ortega one time. He actually was over by the gym I was training at the time, and I met him and I said, "Hey, man, I loved your last title fight, and can you take a picture?" And he was more than happy to take a picture with me. So he's actually a really cool dude in real life. So for me, it's a bit of a personal thing. I don't know him on a super deep level. We definitely don't hang out in the same group. I'll tell you that much. But the one interaction I had with him in person, he was actually a really cool guy. So to see a lot of people just sit there behind the keyboard and just hope that he has this gigantic downfall is just kind of like for me, nah, dude, I'm not about that. I'm not about trying to trash him or anything like that. I hope he succeeds tonight. I hope he proves all the doubters wrong because I would like to see him do a third fight for the title. Even though I don't really see him beating Ilya, and I'll be honest to admit that. I like seeing it when you can prove the doubters wrong, and that's why doubt is always just going to be there. So if he could prove these doubters wrong tonight, he might. Who knows? He might pull an upset and get a title or something like that. I just think to have a shoulder injury that bad, that puts you out for a really long time. You could lose some tread on the tires, especially as a fighter. So he's got a lot going against him right now. He's got the world stacked up against him, and now necessarily maybe he hasn't been too inactive. I mean, over the time, yes, he's only fought Volkanovski. He did the Ultimate Fighter since then, but he really has just been as a fighter, picking his battles and picking what's left on his biological clock. So you can't really knock him. Now, for everyone who's asking why is he still ranked 3, okay, you know what? You got me there. Maybe he should be penalized or knocked down the rankings because at the end of the day, that number by your name doesn't really matter. Just put them in the co-main event and have their names, even if there's no rank by it. I don't care. People take layoffs and then come with no number next to their name and then shoot themselves into the title fight, like George St. Pierre at middleweight. Remember that? He didn't have a middleweight ranking next to his thing when he fought Michael Bisping. Now he's the champion. It's just the ranks don't really matter like they say they do. But, I'm just really trying to give him benefit of the doubt and make sure he comes out on top. So this was my Brian Ortega simp post, like a lot of you alpha Chad Sigma males online like to call it. But I will see you guys later. I'm actually going to root for him. It's a tall order, and I think that he's a heavy underdog, and justifiably so. And maybe Yair is going to win this one. Who knows? But I really just hope we see a comeback story because I would like to see that. If not, there's still a future in the UFC for Brian Ortega. So I will see you guys later. Peace out.